All right, good afternoon, garden friends. We have caught a break in the weather, so we are working on getting the roof installed. Kevin's done some other things, so let me turn the camera around, show you what he's gotten finished as he is working on putting the roof on. Okay, so he got the sides done, and with the vents installed. He got the drip edges done on both sides. So now he's working on installing the carbon roof, carbonate roof. So we can beat this rain that's supposed to be happening every day this week. So initially, just trying to make sure that, the panels are nice and secure and sealed. So he's getting that all done. Now, while we're, trying to get the roof and everything on, once that is done, we're gonna go back around and touch up all the areas that we might need to repaint and have this finished. Now, the one thing that he did do, and I was in a rush, is I wanted my farm lights up. So he did put those up, and I actually did a night photo of it, so I'll show that to you guys. But then he also got the small windows in, the screens in the top, and then also the platform painted. And then, like I said, the vent on the opposite side, along with the drip edge. Don't fall. End up jinxing us. And then those just slide into the channels. You say what?
Very tightly.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the idea, is for them to be tight so we don't have any leakage or anything like that. And then he goes inside and go up through the opening to get it tacked down with those screws. And these are the screws that he has to use to install the track. And that's to ensure, you got good expansion. He has to pre-drill the hole to allow it to expand and contract. They come with this paper coating on it to keep them from getting scratched up. You just end up peeling it off. He's putting in the last piece on the front of the roof. Putting a cap on the last panel using his snip cutters. All right, guys, he got the front done. We had some rain last night, so hopefully he will be able to get the backside completed And then we're gonna start on the inside, getting this done. Cause, you know, I got some seeds that, or seedlings that I'm starting that I wanna be able to get into the greenhouse so that while we have the nice sun and heat of summer, these seedlings that I'm starting for fall growth will be able to start taking shape. All right, the roof is on and it looks so nice. He just got to put the ridge cap on, but it was raining. So I told him, you know, wait until it dries a little bit before he gets up there. But yes, it looks so nice. The vents are up, you know, and like I said, this is gonna end up allowing me to do some serious up my game on me growing whether my vegetables or flowers from seeds. So this is looking so very nice. And then I so love the barn lanterns. I said I'll turn those on so that they could be seen at night of how nice it looks. All right, guys, we're gonna go into the greenhouse to try to figure out what this layout and how I want this to be inside here. So come along with us. Oh yeah, no, this is good. All right, so you're putting the T111 up to here, right?
No, right. It's stuff I on the outside. Here, up here, and on the visual down.
I didn't mean the T111. It's, what is that? That bead board. Yeah.
Called something else.
The bead board. Okay. So.
This whole wall basically.
Okay.
Cable ends.
Let me get- Okay.
Now everything, that's it. Everything else is gonna have to be just solid. Because those lines, there's no way we can get them lined up.
Yeah, I thought that's what we had agreed to, that up by the windows,
Same thing for these.
because we're going to paint.
Right, so it's just this wall and the gable ends are gonna be.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
My question is, like this back one here, if you look, you stand back and look at this, that center beam, that's more even. Remember, these were the ones that were all jacked up.
Okay.
Now look how, in order to get the window centered in there, see, that's why they came out like they did
Okay.
with this. So, I guess, and it's crooked, you know, it looks like it's like this, because it is. But to straighten it out visually, you're gonna have to take down here a piece, kind of somewhat in line with up here, fill this in. Can't use it. It's gotta be like here to up. And then that way it can be closed up.
And you don't think by wedging in a piece in there to close that up to where it's more,
It's gonna have to be on the whole outside, right?
yeah,
Right, so whether, I mean, and here's my question to you. Are you wanting, because there's not much on this stuff that we're doing, you know, other than a thin strip right here, just
yeah, that's fine.
cap this.
Yes.
And the same thing like here, there's nothing we can really do on these other than put a piece in here and close or something like that. But as far as these windows, are you looking at just putting a thin strip in
Yep,
there?
that's it. Just a thin strip in there.
All right, you're not letting me build this out all the way up
Nope.
here.
A thin strip, because we're going to be painting.
Probably about
Everything.
eight thick.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's where I didn't know what you were going to do.
Yeah. Nope, that'll work. because you figure with this kept the beadboard up to here, you're gonna end up putting a thin trim here, right?
Right.
Yeah, so that's pretty much how I want everything around the windows.
Corner stuff.
Yeah, since that's going all the way across.
When I grabbed the rack, the ones to the other one,
Yeah,
they only come out to about here. So
that's
you got
fine.
Here, you got here, then you got about this much room in between, and then have the rack all the way around.
I only want the rack on these sides. That's it.
You don't want it on the back
Nope.
down here?
Nope.
Oh, like you did.
Nope. And I think once we get the wall up, this is where I want to start for the shelves first. And then let's see what we have to work with.
Once you do that, then you can afford to have wider shelves and having for long legs coming out first.
Yeah, I'm okay with that too.
Maximize that space.
Yeah.
So nothing here.
No. Nope.
Well, that's good because that'll help hide the imperfections of this wall.
Yeah.
So that,
Yeah, that'll work.
uh,
All right. So he's measuring the height and length of the beadboard. That's gonna go back there just to ensure it gets cut to the right length and height. All right, so he's getting the beadboard up. This is gonna look really nice. And then I do believe he's going to be trimming this out to make it look like wainscoting back here on this back wall. So it's coming along nicely. All right, so I went ahead and got all the windows scraped. And like I said, the old school, not doing that time of taping. Look how clean it is. Like I said, had a little bit of run over, but just took the razor blade to it and got a nice clean cut on the windows, especially, with them being old windows. It looks really, really good. Okay, guys, the ridge cap is on. We had a little scare. Kevin took a little tumble, but he's okay. This is coming together very nicely. Thank God we've had some break in the weather. So that was the part that we really needed to get completed. Looks really nice. Oh man, guys, look how nice this is looking. He got every window trimmed. Okay, so he has the inside walls done, and like I said, the beadboard is going all up top. And then what he did, because it's sort of hard to match up the lines to where they look nice and neat, he enclosed the corners, and then he put trim around the windows to have it nice and neat. And then he will end up caulking it, but he didn't start it on this window, getting this trimmed out. And then once everything is trimmed out, then we are going to start painting the inside. I should say I am, while he is building the racks for me. That's gonna go there on both sides here of the sidewalls. So this is coming along really nicely, guys. I'm loving it, and I can't wait until he does the wainscoting there. That's gonna look really good in here. And then get everything painted white in here. Then I will go ahead and get the floor, and I think I'm gonna do like the dry brush technique of the darker gray. And then I'm thinking about, possibly doing some type of floral stencil in here on the floor. But yes, it's looking good. Okay, so he has all the windows trimmed out where the wings coating is. And then around the door, looks so nice. And then we did have an accident. Well, actually two. He poked the screen and then broke the glass. But this is double pane, so we might be in good shape for him to replace this. But it is coming along nicely. Then get in here and get this painted. All right, so we got everything painted in here. And on the windows, I went a little heavy on the seals because I'm gonna take my blade. I want this to be nice and a clean cut. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this done, and then if the inside of the windows clean, then I'm gonna go ahead and get this swept up and the floor painted. Okay, all the windows are scraped. I'm gonna clean them after I go ahead and get the floor painted. And the one thing that we are going to do is one of the things that for ventilation. We're gonna take the screens out and we're gonna get solar intake outtake fans to put in both of the windows. So let me go ahead and get the floor painted. Okay, so we got the solar fans set up. I'm gonna go ahead and get the holes drilled in so that we can put the solar lights up, and then I'll show you what those guys look like. But let's go on inside. And then they end up, you know, getting connected up outside, and then I can run the cord to the outside. So you can definitely have some air circulation in here. And then the other thing I did get is for right here is one of those magnetic screens to also allow air circulation, because like right now it is what is it, 12:30, and the temperature is 85 degrees and it's 67% humidity in here. And I know when we were looking at these, most individuals only had one. We got two. So we are anticipating that it is going to provide enough airflow for the greenhouse. Now, this is the other thing, guys. We were going to end up putting racks on both sides of the wall, but because I wanted to be able to have some room to work in here for my seedlings, Kevin ended up building me this floating shelf. Now what he's going to do is, we got a metal piece that of piping that he's going to secure that to a little basin for me, and then trim out and caulk the tabletop. And then he did me a little hole to where I could keep my scooper in there. And then I did end up getting some additional shelving. Let me turn this around. Okay, so this is shelving that I had, oops, that I had up in the Paris room. Because like I said, the goal is to have all of my seedlings being done out here, but I wanted it the full length, so I ordered another one that is, I believe, 19 inches, same height that can fit there. And then I'm gonna have him run me some shelves, possibly all the way across the top here, so I can like put plants. And then we did put one of the solar lights in here, farm lights. So and then I did get the floor painted. So what I'm gonna do is just do like a quick sweep just to get any debris. And I have a, sunflower stencils that I am going to do here. And then this is the other good thing about not having the racks. Like for my pots, I'll, to overwinter, I'll be able just to slide them in and it gives me extra storage. So let me go ahead, get the floor cleaned up, start with my stenciling. There's a couple spots that I'm gonna have to touch up when we were installing this. That's scraped. And then the greenhouse will be nice and tidy. Okay guys, I'm actually working on 2 pots with the canna, the silver falls, and then the vinca, which is white. In this pot that I'm going to be doing 2 to be on the side of the greenhouse. I figure with the cannas getting these, I think these guys probably get about 4 foot tall. That'll look nice. And even though it has some blooms on it, it still has like some new growth that's coming in there. I think that'll end up looking really nicely as we come into the home stretch of completing the greenhouse. All right, so got the greenhouse structure all together and was able to put some things that, resources that'll allow me to have easy access to me starting my seeds. But as I stated, just to give, a little nice touch to the outside, I have my 2 pots with the cannas, the vincas, and the silver falls flanking the greenhouse. And then I actually moved my little sitting set over here in the garden area, and as you can see, my vegetables are doing phenomenal. My okra, my Swiss chard, and then back there my buckwheat and red clover. But guys, I am really happy with how this turned out. And the one thing that we are going to do, because as you can see, we have the 2 fans here, the intake and outtake fans. One of the things that we're noticing is as long as the sun is over here, they run. So we are going to make the investment of getting the battery that will end up being able to capture some of the energy from the sun. So let's just go ahead inside the greenhouse. Like I said, this is a 5x10 greenhouse. And we still have some things that we're gonna be adding because I'm looking for these cast iron, what are those things called that you can put the shelves on, because I want that old look, and these cast iron brackets that Kevin is going to be running the shelves across the top here for me, and that way I will have some additional space, not only for some outdoor plants, but also my seedlings. And then this looks so nice that he built me this tabletop, a floating tabletop, to where I can do a lot of my seedlings in here in preparation. But then also the other benefit of having this is I have plants that are in pots that I will be able to use this to overwinter. And as I stated before, we left this open so that I could have room to tuck my pots back in here. Now, the one thing that I am going to do is, because the floor does have gaps in it. And when we have the cold weather, I don't want, it to possibly freeze the roots. So I'm also looking for some crates or something that I can place under here to lift them up off the ground. And for efficiency of space, I went with a stool in here that I can easily tuck in there and have it out of the way. But this has turned out so nice. And like I said, because we have the shelving left to do, that too will give me space above to store all of my books, my garden books, since this is tied to not only my flower garden, but also my vegetable garden. And then on this side, because this tends to get more of the sun, is also where my seedlings will end up being. I ended up thinning out some of my tick seed flowers that I am going to be possibly overwintering, or until I can figure out where in the garden I want to be able to put it. Now, one of the things that I am going to be doing differently, because, there's not a lot of racking space in here, is I'm going to be doing the cell block technique for a lot of my seedlings. I just got this. And an individual that I was watching on YouTube had a very small greenhouse, and she was able to produce over 1,000 plants in a very small space. So that is going to be a direction that I'm going to be going with to do my seedlings for the fall, and then also anything that I'm doing for like my cool season plants. Well, garden friends, this has truly been an amazing adventure for Kevin and I, being able to build this greenhouse so that I can increase my productivity and growing my own vegetables and flowers for my garden. Well, I hope you enjoyed seeing the steps that we took to create the greenhouse. And if you enjoy my content, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to my channel. I so appreciate it. Oh, this looks so nice in the evening. It looks like a little house in a garden filled with flowers. I so love how my knockout roses, my wisteria, my day lilies just flank the greenhouse. It looks so amazing. I'm really happy with how it turned out, and the night lights are just perfect. Now, we will be doing a video walking you through, the cost, the time, some of the trials and tribulations that we went through. So look forward to seeing that video.